Hello Skillr Boxers. Today, we're breaking down the skills of the ultimate warrior.
War, that's what's on my mind.
A boxer who could both outbox and pressure his opponents with a relentless but calculated approach that steadily broke them down. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, often regarded as the greatest middleweight of all time, was both relentless and technically brilliant. He had a unique arsenal of skills, backed by a relentless strategy that allowed him to destroy the best in his division. So if you want to see the technical side of destruction, then this breakdown is for you.
I realize now what they want to see. Every championship fight, they want to see a knockout. They want to see somebody knocked down. They want to see somebody beat up. So hey, they're talking to Marvin Hagler. They're talking to the right man.
Now, let's start from the base. Boxing stance. When it comes to his stance, Hagler maintained a solid and responsible high guard. He fought in a neutral posture, with his chin tucked, smoothly transitioning his weight from back to front foot, usually keeping his weight slightly forward. Hagler was one of the rare fighters who could effectively switch stances. While he was more comfortable boxing from the southpaw stance, he also controlled the orthodox stance both offensively and defensively. As we'll see later, he didn't just fight from both stances. He was a true switch hitter, seamlessly transitioning between the mid-combination to gain an advantage in his attacks. Wild. But now, let's take a look at his first skill. Active at mid-range. When it comes to Hagler's style, he has solid inside game and can also use his footwork from the outside. However, where he excels is mid-range.
Good job. It seems that Haglers,
which is the space where two boxers can just reach each other with their punches.
Respect for the punching power of Mugabe.
Because mid-range keeps boxers constantly in punching range, staying active is crucial, and Hagler mastered this concept.
With his own right lead, but with the ability, 1 minute 5 seconds into the round.
Of course, many feel this is the advantage of Hagler.
Grant is finding Hagler a relatively elusive.
Especially at the beginning of fights, he used level changes and pre-slips while pressing on his front foot to feint opponents and stay off the center line.
Almost typical.
These pre-slips and level changes were not only crucial for defense, but also helped him transition seamlessly into offense, as we'll see in his next skill. This constant movement and change of head slots are reminiscent of modern boxers, like Vasily Lomachenko, who uses a similar tactic. At mid-range, Hagler also showcased a highly versatile defense. His high guard was always well positioned, and he remained mindful of his free hand whenever throwing punches, making it difficult for opponents to counter or catch him in between shots.
Well, he just threw, but this was ready for it.
Looping.
Will that take something out of it? You know, Tim, when you're a little tired, Richard Steeler's doing a good.
His punch selection was exceptional, and his uppercuts, especially at mid-range, were well-timed and devastating.
Come out a much more popular.
Every day, Hagler fought several rounds.
There is blood on Hagler now too, but it is front.
One of his best weapons was his power jab.
Straight dart down the middle.
Hagler would often catch opponents in between their punches, sometimes even hurting them with it.
It's going to eventually go now as well as on top of the left eye.
He was also extremely effective at doubling and tripling the jab, using it with pinpoint accuracy while circling around his opponent.
And scores. Since the opening bell has nothing to do with the cut. He has absorbed an awful lot of punishment. 2 right hands.
He also has a great jab variation that's in his arsenal of leaping shots. As mentioned earlier, Hagler's constant movement and level changes allowed him to transition effortlessly from defense to offense. When lowering his weight, he would bend his knees and spring forward, generating explosive power with leaping shots.
Big fight also. He's doing the correct thing.
This level change also served as a feint. Opponents would often react by overparrying, creating openings for Hagler to land more cleanly.
Blood gushing forth.
His main leaping shots were the jab and the hook. The leaping jab allowed him to close the distance quickly and set up follow-up punches.
Hagler still looking for
In the fight for sure.
Tim, he's looking to nail. This is a key round.
back from Hagler.
And solid punches.
His leaping hook, often referred to as a gazelle punch, was used both to cover distance and land with devastating force.
Oh, a Richter's mouthpiece out. Then around and Hagler is all over him.
These leaping shots added to his relentless pressure, giving his opponents little room to breathe. And when combined with one of his most remarkable skills, they became even more effective. Switching hitting. In boxing, you don't just fight with your hands, you also fight with your feet.
Are you going to fight left-handed or right-handed? I'm going to fight with my feet.
Hagler was just as dangerous from the southpaw stance as he was from orthodox. He could fight an entire round in one stance and then switch to the other in the next, completely confusing his opponent. Even more impressive was his ability to switch hits while attacking. He could do it in different ways. Going forward, changing stances as he stepped with the back foot forward.
Well, he's really tired now.
And shows this time under the eye, actually.
Or going backwards, changing stances as he stepped with the front foot backwards.
I'd rather fight one else.
As we mentioned, he would also mix it up before lunging with an attack, switching stances right before throwing a gazelle hook. Hagler would also mix these two skills to pressure the opponent even more. He would often lunge with an attack from one stance, closing the gap with the opponent. Once he was close to the opponent's instinct would be to exit to the open side, in this case the rear hand side, as the other side is blocked by the lead. As the opponent escapes, Hagler switches stances, and now his rear hand turns into his lead, trapping the opponent again.
Another right behind an uppercut. Hagler right back on his man. What a jab. Brilliant jab. And coming in under.
He's tired.
In the Mugabe fight, Hagler turned completely around and missed.
But every style has its disadvantages. So let's take a look at Hagler's flaws. Flaws. While his skills make for relentless pressure, lunging forward and switching stances have inherent fundamental risks that can cause trouble. Hagler would often lunge forward head first, which made him susceptible to counter uppercuts.
His viewpoint, and is Warren scheduled for 12.
Whenever an opponent was able to time him, he could anticipate Hagler coming in from a more solid and balanced position.
Well,
As we know, switching stances has its own risks, often leaving you out of position in vulnerable spots. In the case of Hagler, he sometimes would square up to the opponent, not fully switching stances.
Throw a lot of punches the first 3 rounds. He used up a lot of energy trying to cut off the ring. Is he missing? Whoa!
But overall, Hagler was one of the best middleweights in boxing history, if not the best, with a remarkably solid defense, the ability to outbox, and on top of that, relentless pressure.
And they are saying, that's it, that's all. Braverman is saying, stop it.
But now, we would love to know your opinion on the comments. What other skills or flaws do you see in Marvin Hagler? Let us know. And if the video was interesting, you can find more in our channel. And to your left, there's a video specially suited for you.